Okay, the stream is live at last.
And so am I.
Welcome, everyone, to Adventure on so many levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay! Finally!
I am Christiana Ellis. I am the show producer, and I am also the Dungeon Master. And as Dungeon Master, I want to fire myself as producer. So it's been a struggle tonight getting the stream started, but here we are at last. Hopefully, some of the audio issues that we've been having are going to be resolved, or at least workable. So, hooray! Our players tonight: Chooch Schubert as Autarky,
Hello, hello.
Starla Hodgson as Nirakina Ethu,
Greetings and salutations.
Jenny Meltzer as Cadence of the Water,
How you doing?
Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard, or just
Never had
Alaric.
so many problems in the mines. Nothing ever went wrong there, except for all of my traps. None of them worked.
And Viv Schubert as Amethyst.
Hey, y'all.
Sadly, we are short one James Meltzer tonight, like Cat of the Sands. We all hope he feels better soon, and in the meantime, we will find a story reason to whisk his character away. So let's talk about the Heroes of Legend and what's their deal. What's their current objective and situation and circumstance and general demeanor.
Adventure.
Yes. Indeed. So, you guys are like on a quest. You know, you've assigned yourself a task. You're sort of given a nudge in the right direction by someone who may or may not be an incredibly powerful hag named Grandmother Praxis. You did receive, however, a poem/prophecy, perhaps, from this individual, saying 3 days, 3 deaths, 3 eyes, 3 breaths. Tea with honey from the 3 queens does wonder for lost songs. And given that you have one of your companions, the one not currently able to speak, who is not currently able to sing. And so you thought, hey, maybe these things are related. You got some intel from some bee people that the bee queens, when they get 3 of them together who don't feel like starting a hive, they find their own new groove off being what's called a thriae, and they make special honey that is reputed to allow you to see the truth in all things. Well, gosh. So you decided to set out, try to get some of this honey. Maybe it will let you get Ket's singing voice back and also see the truth in all things. But you've had some adventures so far. You're traveling with a little bit of scrying. Nero was able to determine that a hive, a thriae hive, was located a 3-day journey away in the Feywild. But because time works differently here, you're actually traversing bands of day and night as you travel physical distance rather than time moving in the normal way. And on this journey so far, you met a low-level adventuring party. 3 individuals named Sutha, Kethra, and Patience. And they seemed clearly doomed, given that there was 3 of them, and they're low level in the Feywild, and you have 3 deaths in your poem. So...
Wait a minute. Clearly doomed. That's a little bit harsh.
Okay, well, I'm just riffing off of what you guys said, because you kind of seems to indicate you thought it might be them that's the 3 deaths, and then you did not.
Clearly they're screwed.
And you sent them on their way.
That's probably the truth.
We have come up with
Better than
some.
us.
Don't need to, say it like that. I mean,
We have come up with some sweet armor that is totally not appropriate for their level, so they'll be fine.
Fair.
I just imagine if that happened to you. That'd be great.
So then, as you continued on your journey, you found yourself briefly contestants within what seems to be perhaps some sort of a Feywild reality show, where you were invited to compete against other contestants for various rounds of competition in exchange for possibly winning a wish. And this competition was hosted by three creatures which you may or may not have recognized as Nothics, distinguished by their unique facial feature of one great big giant glowing green eye each. You competed in these competitions for a little while until it became clear that they were making up the rules as they went along, and that it was seemed less and less likely that there was going to be a point where they actually give you a wish. So you chose to kill them. Hiya! And that's where we're going to pick up right now, as you stand there amongst the dead Nothics, their great big glowing green eyes, not blinking, but that's what they're doing, is they are not blinking in the Feywild
Did we search?
dusk.
Yeah, we searched them and
We
everything,
did,
and then
yeah.
Ket cast the magic mansion
Yeah.
Yes.
in
Okay.
to retire.
Because we
That's
were gonna,
correct.
we did because we reset our stuff.
So you searched them. They were not really carrying anything. They seemed like light travelers.
Well, they were not icks. There's a lot of knots about them.
So I think as you enter this magnificent mansion cast by Ket, you all kind of go your own ways to find your own sorts of activities. None of them involve Ket for reasons which we'll get into in a moment. But what do you guys do? You just exhausted? You go right to bed?
Yeah, kind of annoyed.
Yeah, I'm really mad.
Yeah.
Clearly a scam.
That was such nonsense. You had that.
I mean, you tried to do the honorable thing, and this is what people do to you. It's just rude.
Yeah. You don't think we overreacted?
No,
I mean, they did seem to fall a lot
they
faster.
shrunk me. I was like this big.
You were still pretty powerful. You were the only one of
That's-
us that even got that far.
Yeah, but
Tried to kill her.
yeah, they did try to kill me. I don't think we overreacted at all.
Nah.
Still, I sort of just leapt into it. I promised I wasn't going to do that again. Well, I strongly hinted that I would try not to do that again.
I
We
will,
are who we are.
I will forgive you this time, Alaric, since you were trying to save my life.
Well, of course I was. I mean, I had hope maybe that they did actually have that thing, the spell. I don't know what I would have wished for if I'd won it. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, but that's the thing about wishes. They always come with a price. Maybe you would have got what you wanted, but it probably wouldn't have been how you wanted it, or
Maybe. You know what? I think I trust my own two hands a lot more than that anyway. Always had to do things the hard way, I suppose. Kind of glance over at near Keen at that point. Just a little bit. And kind of look away.
I'm going to turn in.
Yep, time to go to bed.
yeah.
No.
So,
Good night.
everyone decides to go and get a long rest.
Yeah.
There's,
Yep.
no additional business. You all turn in, and your rest is uneventful. But I think so. Who's the first to get up in the morning? You think?
Probably the elf.
Yeah.
True dat.
Yeah.
So I think as you make your way downstairs to the common room, you notice that on the center of the big table where you've often enjoyed your meals, there is just a slip of paper. It's kind of, parchment paper, but it looks fancy.
I am going to go and take a look.
It says very simply on it, I owe you, and then there's a picture of Ket with 2 thumbs up and a big smile.
Well, I mean, it's fancy, so going to assume maybe Fey interference, but is there any other hint or indication of
That's all it says.
that's it?
And
I'm
your
going
best guess
to
is that
breathe a long sigh and march up to Cadence's room then.
your best guess is that the paper, while of superior quality, is not in and of itself magical.
Okay.
It tears pretty easy if you try.
Well, I don't really seeing you. I mean, a little annoyed, but not as much as yesterday. So, long sigh, head up to Cadence's room, knock on the door.
I get up and look out. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Hand her the paper. So this is happening.
What? So I look at it. Does it look like his handwriting?
It doesn't, but it does look like his picture. Like, it looks like he drew it.
Huh. That's weird. I will kind of like edge past her a little bit and go to his room and just knock on the door.
No answer.
I will open it and look in.
There's servants in there saying, "Can I help you?"
Where is your master?
Well, he went out
How long ago?
several hours.
That's weird.
He returned briefly to place the note, and then left again.
Was anybody else here?
No. But we remained inside as we are insubstantial.
Did he look distressed?
No.
That's weird.
I believe he indicated in the drawing that he had a big smile and 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. That seems like him, but I don't know.
Is it too early for wine?
No.
No. And one of the servants goes about to fetch you some wine.
Oh, this is crazy. What is he up to now?
I don't know. But I hope he finishes whatever it is soon.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of need to get going. I know that we have like unlimited time, but we don't really have unlimited time.
Well, I mean, we can't just sit around and wait for him, really. I mean, he could probably catch up. Like, he would know how to find us.
You could always
follow the trail of bodies.
You could always send him a message.
That I could do.
Maybe.
You glance down at the paper, and the drawing has changed to with a little word balloon that says, "Go on, I'll be fine."
All right, now I know he can't do that. That's weird. I mean, he's gotten pretty powerful, but that's like way beyond his capabilities.
Well, clearly he has help.
You check it, the paper doesn't seem any more magical than it was before. The drawing seems of similar quality, but it's certainly a different picture than it was a moment ago.
It is the Feywild. It's probably alive. Have you tried talking to it?
Hey, paper. Can you answer me? I don't think it's
You're just
working.
staring at it?
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Well, breakfast?
Yeah.
As you each have had your eye line drift away from it for a moment, when you catch it again, now it just has a big shrug.
Oh,
Maybe just keep that with us just in case.
yeah. He's literally the most frustrating person I've ever known in my entire life. All right, I will put that paper in my pocket and we'll go eat breakfast.
Okay. So everybody else is presumably you wake, drawn by the smells of cooking breakfast. Presumably you are
Yeah.
notified at some point.
Yeah.
You'd think they would be down here near. I mean, we made this coffee how long ago?
At least 5 minutes.
I'm still getting used to the idea that I seem to always have clothes, whether I'm wearing them or not. It gets a little confusing. I have to tell by the breezes.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Well, you look close to me. That's good enough. Come on.
I guess, yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters when a dagger stabs me, and it's
Oh, well, that's a good point.
not the armor I thought I was wearing or anything else. Also, if it gets chilly at night. But what's for breakfast anyway? Don't say chicken.
Wine.
Wine.
Yeah, wine for breakfast.
I'm in.
Wait, what?
Day drinking, all right.
Yeah. Morning drinking.
Morning drinking.
We
So
can
just
wine.
to start the day off on a great note, hence the wine.
Vitamins, antioxidants.
Well, technically, you know that right outside the door, it's actually dusk, because that's where
Yeah.
this.
Still.
Oh, right on.
Gothics.
Yeah. Just because
It's
we were
gotta be
asleep
dusk
It
somewhere.
does somewhere.
Yeah.
this morning. So,
So,
yeah, this
yeah.
is a thing. And I like whip out the note and I show it to them.
What, he owes you something?
Oh.
Yeah, his presence.
Yeah, he's
He's
gone.
giving you presents now?
We don't know where he is.
What do you mean you don't know where he is?
He's gone.
He left.
Well,
This is all he left. And it changes when you talk to it, kind of, but not right away.
You look
How
at it
long
now.
ago
The
did he
picture. The picture has Ket with his arms folded and kind of bemusedly looking up, just kind of like, yeah, that sounds like me.
I'm looking around. We should probably eat quickly then. This place isn't going to last.
Well, it
Oh,
well, I mean,
yeah.
the last,
hours.
yeah, he doesn't have to be here for it to.
Yeah, but who knows what's happening to him? Maybe he sleeps.
Well, at worst, it would just kick us out.
Yeah.
Still, I'd rather have breakfast first, and maybe something better than wine. Not that wine is bad, just I need something more solid.
Ale?
You want some iced tea? I mean,
I mean, ale would be good, yes, but I was thinking bread
One of
and
the
meat.
servants has provided you a platter with a stein on it.
there you go.
This is getting ridiculous.
At least it's not chicken. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Hmm. I could go for some chicken, actually.
No, you couldn't. Not today.
Just
Chicken
chicken
bacon.
and waffles.
Ooh, that does sound good.
You people are impossible.
All right. Ham. Yeah.
So he says that we should go on without him.
Is it on official Fae business?
I don't know. I mean, he did get kind of chummy with the Fey Queen.
Yeah.
Sure seems moogany,
I don't know.
having flashbacks.
At least I fell through a hole. I don't know where the hell the rest of you people go.
I don't go anywhere. I mean, not anymore, but
Actually, I think you're right. You might be the only one of us that hasn't disappeared mysteriously. Someone tie a rope to her leg quickly, just in case.
I need those legs though
Oh, right.
to move. I'm not going anywhere that I know of.
Maybe we're just all figments of her imagination.
God,
Hmm?
I'd really hope not.
It is way too early for that, Archie.
I make a lot of things a lot easier.
DM
I mean, I think-
takes notes.
How many cups of wine have you had so far?
Me?
Any of
Three.
you?
I mean, counting. Are we counting now?
If you've lost count, that's probably a good indication right there.
I mean, maybe we didn't start counting. Did you think of that? Maybe we decided no counting tonight.
There's no time, so there's no counting.
This
left.
morning.
Fine.
Yes.
I mean, that is
It's
fair.
dusk. Dusk.
It
Got
is
the
dusk.
sun on my side.
I guess we could stay for a little while.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can eat and we can do it. We don't need to rush, but we do need to get on the road and, continue with our
Yeah.
mission,
All right.
quest thing.
So, about that, has anybody figured out exactly what we're going to do yet?
Nira.
Keep going down the road. I don't know. What are you
We're
3,
looking-
take
I
You always
3
have ideas.
breaths.
I know.
Well,
Breasts.
I'm wondering if, like, I've been thinking about the problem with the droning sound,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have a lot of like nature knowledge, but if there is some way to something that would effectively plug our ears,
wax.
beeswax.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I've been on the lookout for bees,
Fingers.
like just regular bees. Yeah, but you're gonna need your fingers to do things like if we have to
Oh,
fight
well,
anybody.
yeah.
Well,
Because I mean,
Doesn't-
Good point.
I have
doesn't that-
silence at the ready, but it's stationary. So
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it stops most other spell casting
Yeah, we can do
for
magic
good or
inside.
ill.
but you can still wail on things with weapons.
Yeah.
you can send messages to things, though, right? Couldn't we talk to them at a distance?
Yeah, I mean that was another thing that we talked about was maybe trying to
Well-
talk to them like a parlay.
I do still have this crystal ball. And I was actually just looking at this. And I can cast scrying with this. And I can use telepathy
Hmm.
on creatures that I can see within 30 feet of the sensor. So
I mean,
Okay.
I'm kind of torn because, on the one hand, I mean, surprise is powerful. I know that. I know how many times I had to hide to get away from things, or how many times it's good to come out of the shadow. But I don't know if I want to do that with them. I mean, I don't know if they're good or bad, or if it even matters. But I don't know. I didn't like what I did yesterday.
Which
didn't-
part, like the killing part?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were out to hurt you, and I don't regret helping, but they fell so easily. It felt too easy. They weren't the real problem after all. And these three, I mean, we're here at the suggestion of somebody that's powerful enough to scare the queen, or at least have her respect that power. And maybe part of this is that thing just wants these queens dead, wants these things out of the way for her own reasons. I don't know
there
if
was
I-
nothing saying we had to kill
You know,
any of the queens, but it did say 3 deaths. So
Well, we had that yesterday.
I mean, I guess I'm having a problem understanding why this affects you when we've done way worse before. I mean, just thinking about everything that's been left in our wake, like it's even if
Maybe
it wasn't us directly.
maybe because we're not even like there's really no strong purpose for why we're doing what we're doing right now. I mean,
Well, we think it can help Ket. and
maybe
that's worth doing.
We don't know. I mean, we could go back to the dragon just as easily and maybe help Ket. And I mean, we're doing this because we feel some weird. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like ignoring her is worse than anything else.
Yeah. Very
Well,
true.
If we
I
leave the
mean-
Feywild, does it matter? I mean, is she gonna follow us if we leave?
I think so.
I don't know. But then being able to see the truth of things, I mean, I think we could use some clarity.
Yeah. Whatever that means. I mean, do we all
Yeah.
really want to see the truth? I don't know what that is.
I was just so tired of not knowing who to trust and what to believe.
Well, I know a few people I can trust. As far as I can throw them anyway. But I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it was easy to beat down the people that were opposing us. Sometimes it was too easy, but I knew it was right. I acted yesterday without really thinking about it. I guess I'm just wondering. That's all. Maybe they can be talked to. Maybe they can be helpful. Maybe they don't have to get into a fight.
I don't think it's ever our
that's-
first choice.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to not have to fight them. The queen that we spoke with at the gala did say that it would have to be negotiated with the queens in regards to getting our hands on some of that honey.
Maybe there are people live nearby. They might know more. Or
bees.
Bees.
yeah, you got that thing, right, that can find them?
Amethyst has it. Either way, we have to push forward. We can't stay here.
Yeah. Amethyst.
And if
Did
Cat's
you-
not back, we're sleeping in the rough tonight.
We've done it before.
It'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Amethyst, did you prepare speak with animals today?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, once you've had your chicken, waffles, and wine, I think we better hit the road. You're going to need to work that off after all.
Yeah.
Boy,
And
we
you
gotta
some
go.
more mashed potatoes.
I am
servant.
just briefly imagining the idea of having a big breakfast of chicken and waffles with wine and then saying, "All right, let's go."
Let's go hike.
My stomach hurts, you guys.
No, I just stuck to the ale. It was much safer.
All right.
We eat
Well,
like that all the time.
whoever among you is the first to open the door finds it similarly dusk outside. The sight of this place is mostly as you left it. The bodies of the Nothics are a little bit grosser. But
We should
otherwise,
probably bury them.
they seem otherwise nothing else seems to have occurred.
Yeah, Feywild, they'll dissolve or something,
Yeah.
right?
Like, they'll get eaten.
Who
Will
was
they?
eating away last time? Was it Cadence?
Yeah, because I can track stuff.
Yeah.
And you were helping me because you know the
Looking for the mountains.
Yeah.
Right.
So, make a perception check, Alaric.
Oh, dear. I still remember how to do
Be
those.
perceptive. Be perceptive.
Under the P for perceptive. 23.
That's pretty good. I think that you, in your ambivalent feelings about these Nothics, who were not nice, but also maybe didn't need to die for being not nice. But as I think you're sort of glancing over them, you realize that as their bodies are starting to decay a little bit, their eyes seem just as glowing, green, and vibrant as when they were alive. Usually, when something dies, like the eyes get kind of cloudy and dry, but the eyes of these things seem unchanged.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Holding. Bag of holding.
Yeah. Put their heads in the bag of holding.
You want to what?
What?
We need
What'd you notice, huh?
You want to put all three of them in there, or just one?
Do we need the whole
just
head or
mopey
just
old
the eyes?
Alaric can't get over these dumb old Nothics.
So let's carry him around.
I mean, we could just take the eyes or add up their heads. We don't
Do you
need their
think-
whole head.
Wait.
Not it.
Maybe
Three
this
eyes,
prophecy is more like a ingredients list.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done this before, and I just start like carving the eyes out of one of their heads,
Oh
like
no,
Damn.
keeping it
no.
intact.
Yeah. The thing is,
Oh my.
I'm not going to tell you it's not gross, because it is. But whether or not it is more or less gross than a typical sort of harvesting of a body part, the eye just comes out like you're plucking an apple. Like it's just
Oh, it made a
it
sucking
just
sound.
comes right out. The rest of the head relinquishes it easily.
Oh.
It is basically the size of a really big grapefruit, and it is goopy, and massive.
A
In your
grapefruit?
hand. Yeah.
So we have some parchment that we could wrap these in.
Well, I was thinking take them back in the mansion and rinse them off, maybe, or something. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe there's a Ziploc pouch in there or something.
Do we have like any
Drop
used
'em in.
containers, or
Tupperware.
we could wrap
we
them in?
do
I know
have
we have
extra
paper.
cloaks of elven kind we can wrap them in.
I'll never find them
Ew.
again, though.
That's true. That'd be
Send
really
them
well
back
hidden.
to the closet.
Keep trying
Just-
to. I
just-
know
I
it's
can
in this
throw 'em
bag. I
into a
know it's
cloak
in here
together.
somewhere. I just can't find
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
just take
almost
one
like
of the
it's
cloaks
hiding
and bundle them
somehow.
up like a pouch.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Alaric, give me your cloak. You've been trying to
No.
get rid of it for days.
I'm not.
Since he
I'm
gave
not.
it to you.
Oh, the cloak of sure.
Yeah,
Take the elven
That
cloak.
one.
But
Yeah. Okay. So I wrap them in like neatly on like a little parcel in a large cloak of elven kind.
that's not mine anymore. I don't want it back.
I write a large name on it with a pen.
Well, you know what that means, Alaric? It means those 3 Nothic eyes belong to you.
Yeah. I mean,
What
the
if the
price was
wish is in
paid.
these
That's
eyes?
fairy law.
3 Nothic eyes.
What if the secret to the wish that they had is in these eyes, Alaric? This could be important.
Now you're just making fun of me.
No, I'm being serious.
Maybe
But I
it
think
could
you
be
might be
used as a
right.
trade for the honey.
No, if what she said was actually more of a prophecy, then it lines up. Sadly,
Yeah.
we're taking the journey of 3 days. There were 3 deaths. Now there are 3 eyes. 3 breaths. I don't know. Wind, maybe. I don't know. I guess I better be brought
Breathe on
along.
the eyes and see what happens.
I don't.
But like dice
You know, roll 'em?
for luck.
Yeah.
All right, 3 Nothic eyes are in the Loot of Legends spreadsheet.
Sweet.
Roll these
And then
things,
I
they
toss
get
them
all
in the
dirty
backpack.
from the ground. It just all the dust sticks to them.
So gross.
But I imagine you didn't actually roll them on the ground because they're priceless treasures, probably.
Yeah.
Next,
They're
they're
in
gonna
the
prop up the
cloak.
bones, and then just put one of them right through the center of 9 bones.
I just wipe my hands on the grass because they're all gross.
It's a very cat-like thing to do, actually.
How mad would you guys be if this was all just to fetch a snack for grandmother Praxis?
You know, there's never a statement that starts with "How mad would you be?" that I'm usually in favor of.
I think Alaric would be pretty mad.
Hey, if we get the clarity, I'm fine with it.
All right. Are we done then?
I think so.
All right.
All right.
Continuing on.
Still
Lead the way.
I'm gonna boop Cadence with guidance to
What does
aid
that do?
anything that she needs to do to whatever.
All right. Sure.
What does that do?
Well, So
Gather your chi and pick a direction.
Just makes you
yeah,
better.
it basically lets you add a D4 to an ability check. Although here's some nuance: is that if this ability check is going to be like finding a path over the next 8 hours, guidance only works like for the next minute.
Minute.
But you can pick a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
And
can
it's a
be
cantrip,
guidance
so I
for
can just
getting
keep doing it.
started. Yeah,
I mean, there's a
it's
road,
fine.
right?
I'm just
Yeah.
being pedantic over the rules for no good reason. So go ahead and roll a survival check, Cadence. You can add the D4 for the guidance.
What kind of check was it?
Survival.
Okay, I thought that's what you said, that you cut out for a
Mhm.
second. 19.
19. All right. You head off on your way. You are certainly still going in the direction that you were traveling when you approached this strange little clearing. As you begin to leave this clearing, if any of you should glance back, you notice that although it seemed to stay pretty unchanged while you took your long rest in the magnificent mansion, now that you are leaving the clearing, it looks as though it is being recovered by nature very quickly.
Mm.
You know, what might normally take weeks or months seems to be happening over the course of a few minutes. But it waited until you were leaving.
No burial required.
So as you are traveling now, you are traveling deeper into a band of night here in the Feywild. So it is dark. And most of you have regular dark vision, and Amethyst has the goggles. So you're able to get by, but it is certainly dark. Do you carry any sort of light of your own? Or are you just going with the night vision? The dark vision?
I'm fine with night vision goggles.
I'm good with dark vision.
Yeah, same.
It is
Feels more
limited,
natural.
so you have
The
to be careful.
landscape begins to grow notably damper, marshier, and you realize that you are heading into what appears to be a large swamp. I mean, it's hard to get a sense of exactly how large because, of course, it's nighttime, and it is still kind of dense forest around you. But the ground is certainly getting marshier. The softer, there's spots of mud and fetid pools that you have to move around, but Cadence's natural instincts are guiding her so you don't end up going in circles or getting too lost. You believe you're still going in the right direction. Peering ahead, after a few hours, you start to recognize that you can see what looks like sunrise on the horizon. And you are continuing to travel. Let's get another survival check, please.
Booped with guidance.
Because you want to just go ahead and abuse the exact rule that I gave you lenience on last time. I approve.
20, not natural.
All right. Yeah, so you're continuing to make your way. You traveling with Cadence, you find that she is able to steer you guys around natural hazards and difficult terrain in a way that would probably be very difficult to manage without her expertise. But thankfully, you have her expertise. And you are getting closer and closer to what seems like a brighter area as you realize you are once again leaving this band of night and moving towards a band of day. But you realize just as you're starting to have a little bit more light to see by, you realize up ahead is you can see just the glimmer of what looks like perhaps a campfire.
Don't suppose it's them again, all right?
I mean, it could be.
We told them to go the other way.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they're-
how often do young adventurers listen?
And I mean, like, how often do they find their way?
Right. I was just going to say.
They probably got lost as soon as we left them.
I mean, they did fall through a hole already once. They could have just fallen through another hole, I suppose.
True.
Or maybe this is day and that was day, and they just walked from one day to the next and skipped the night.
Maybe.
I've had days like that.
Can we see from where we are if there are any people around the fire?
Well, right now you're still far enough away that you've only just been able to see the spark of the campfire. You'd have to get closer.
So the
But-
question is, do we want to hide or do we want to engage?
Well, maybe approach it like we did last time.
Yeah, sneak up and see what we can see.
All right.
Yeah, send somebody for reconnaissance.
No
All
need
right.
for rolls. Whoever is going to go and do the scouting, who is that going to be?
I will go.
All right.
Not I.
So
I'll go with you so you're not alone.
buddy system is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alaric and Cadence manage to, they make their way up stealthily just in case. But as you get closer, you do see some recognizable faces around this campfire. However, you only see two of them. You see Kethra, the Asimar, and Patience, the Tiefling, but you do not see Sutha, the half-orc. They are sitting around that campfire. They look weary and, frankly, quite a bit more bedraggled than the last time you saw them.
I will motion back if they can. They see like where we are, where
Well,
Lark
you
and I
guys
are.
approached stealthily, so I would say no, not unless you want to. Oh, you mean
Well,
like the others?
The party,
like,
yeah. Can
Yeah,
they see
I mean,
us?
you go back and say, hey, they're up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll run back real quick and let them know.
These guys are low level. You can
Wow.
easily do whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's just two.
Guess
No.
they've been through the ringer, huh? All
It
right,
looks
well,
like it.
Well, if they really want, I can still offer to send them back via banishment.
Yeah, they might accept.
Let's go
it.
hear the tale.
Yep.
Do you approach?
So,
Yep.
yeah, I think I'll approach it normal, non-stealthy manner.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to
yeah.
sneak around so that I'm not hiding from them. Because I don't want to stop it. Give
You
them a heart
guys
attack.
approach,
Hey!
and I think you get close enough before they react that you probably there might be a little bit of a like I would have seen someone approaching before now if it were me, but eventually they notice and they look ahead and they're briefly startled just to see people approaching, but then when they recognize you, they wave,
Do a wave.
And they call out and the Patience, the tiefling wizard, says, "Oh my goodness! It's so such a relief to see friendly faces again. I hope your travels have kept you well." And
Well-
Hail adventurers, yeah, we're no worse for wear so far. You seem to be missing a friend though. A companion.
and yeah, so Patience looks back to Kethra, crestfallen, and Kethra just says,
It's in the bushes taking a leak.
"No, several days ago, Sutha was. We were all traveling through the swamp, and Sutha was drawn to some sort of a light, and before we knew it, she had plunged into the muck, and we did our best. We tried to save her, but she was pulled out of sight. We couldn't even see. Like she seemed to be pulled underground. She was just gone."
You were in the swamp several days ago.
Yeah, that was several days. But it's not been that long since we left you.
How the blazes could you tell days anyway? This place.
They look really confused.
Well, we know time doesn't quite work the same here, right? At least we keep being told that.
Well, it doesn't work at all, really.
Well, yeah, from one point of view.
Yeah, so Patience is looking to you and just say, how long ago was our first meeting to your recollection?
2 sleeps.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah, one.
Yeah,
One-
they look at each
Yeah,
other
one
and
night.
they say, like,
Yeah, that was yesterday.
It's of course difficult to track time in our traditional way, but just by our own internal reckoning, and I pride myself that my internal chronometer is excellent. It's been over 2 weeks since last we met.
Wow.
Weeks.
Wow.
Man, I really should have gotten more sleep.
I think you did.
We must have. Those were some long naps.
We sent you in the other direction too. How come you be in front of us again?
The wrong
Yeah,
way.
that's true.
Well, I cannot claim to have any sort of an understanding of that answer. We did our best to follow the directions you gave us, but this place is befuddling to even the shrewdest navigator, it would seem. Although I suppose there are some who might find its ways familiar and navigable, but to us, I'm afraid, we have been quite lost for some time.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. It's frustrating.
Where is it you really want to go? Do you have a particular place in mind in these 2 weeks? Has anyone told you anything of the landscape here? Anything else?
We just wish to go home.
I could make that happen.
The two of them just look up. You could?
I could try.
Well, so Kethra, the other one is sort of very, her emotions seem to be a little muted, like she's maybe still in a little bit of shock, but she does just say, we would be endlessly grateful if you could end this nightmarish odyssey we've been on.
Well, I can cast this spell and just let it happen. I don't know if you're familiar with banishment, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Do you know where they'll go?
As soon as you say that, Patience is saying, "Oh my goodness, that. Oh yes, I think that would do quite nicely. I mean, I cannot cast it myself, but my understanding is that it is quite the useful tool when dealing with an extraplanar entity, which here would actually be us."
Mm-hmm.
It will send you back to the material plane, but I make no promises as to where.
They both kind of grimace a little bit, like
That's true.
that's slightly a little concerning. You can't control it at all.
It's actually up to you. If you really concentrate and if you believe hard enough in home, I think you could end up exactly where you need to be.
Are you going to tell them to click their heels together 3 times as well?
You think it helps, and in my experience, that doesn't really help. But
At this point, Patience is digging through like a satchel and pulling out like various scrolls in a book, and it's just like, I've read once that there are certain spells that more than just the banishment variety, but there are spells that would seem to just allow interplanar travel with a degree of control, and I know that I would not ask necessarily that you all travel with us, but perhaps I know that those are performed by means of some kind of a focus, like an anchor tied to some location in the destination plane. If perhaps an anchor of that type were to be utilized in the banishment spell, perhaps that could direct the location.
as a focus, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know what sort of object would suffice.
The tuning fork.
Yeah, we don't.
We
I
can't
mean,
give up
we can't-
hours. We need
yeah.
it.
No. Use it as a focus as you cast banishment, and just embrace its energy as the destination.
Do we have one for the plane that they want to go to?
Well, anything from the material plane, maybe?
Yeah. So it'll go
Okay.
to. What did we make that out of?
We
That
had
was-
ones out of-
Yeah, that was
The barrier mountains.
Maybe a more practical help as well. And I'll
So
beat you
there's
in the pack.
one. There is one to the material plane. And
Yeah,
there's
that would have
one
been
to
made from a platinum rod from the Barrier Mountains.
Also, the
Yeah,
astral
platinum
sea and the
bar.
elemental plane of air.
I don't think they want to go to either of those two places, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Elemental.
So Kethra
Just-
still looks concerned, but Patience at this point just says, "Don't worry. I have a very strong impression based on these spells that at the very least we can count on not materializing like inside of a mountain, or
Oh, yeah.
like under the water or anything like that.
What's wrong with being inside a mountain? It's my best place.
Oh well, like
It's
in a mine.
safe, it's
certainly.
safe.
What I
Joking.
mean is not
I'm-
we wouldn't like be physically transposed into the solid rock."
Right. Yeah.
Which,
So-
as you can imagine, I would imagine would be quite lethal. I would think.
Did you say you were? Where did you say you were from again?
Ooh, just outside of Ushbithra.
Ushbithra? I don't know if it would work, but my armor came from Ushbithra, and maybe if I think about it real hard.
Mm-hmm.
We also know a few
Who's
people
that?
in Ushbither who could help
Think
you.
of that as a focus.
I think they'd still welcome people that we recommended.
Yeah, Catherine
We can all
says,
think Ushi thoughts.
We would be extraordinarily grateful for whatever assistance you can provide. We have proven ourselves quite incapable of finding our way home on our own.
I wouldn't put too much blame on yourselves for that. This place is kind of crazy. But I do have something that might help you when you return, just in case you are separated. And I'll pull out 2 of those pieces of paper that I picked up a long time ago from our avian friend.
Oh yeah.
And I give one to each of them.
It was literally like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
If you do find yourselves separated, these you can send to each other. They'll find each other, but it might take a bit of time because they have to travel through the air. But that will be one way you can meet up again. And if you're not separated, you'll have this magic paper nonetheless.
Patience seems very impressed. Kethra, it seems like was waiting for the spell to happen.
Just
All
send
right.
me home.
So I guess I'm going to cast Banishment at 5th level. And concentrating, focusing very, very hard on what I remember of Ushbithra, the thinking about, the great tall golden grasses and the stone giants and Carrot and Stick and the town. I didn't really see it. I didn't see it when it was smashed, so so as I remember it. So and then I'm going, I will
Okay.
cast that.
You're going to send it back in time before it was smashed.
Hope for the best.
Thank you.
Make a spell casting ability check, which would be wisdom for you. Just wisdom check, not saving throw.
Hooray, we're in the city. What's that giant shadow? Ah!
A wisdom check, you said?
Yes,
That is a 20, not natural.
that's pretty good. You cast the spell. You feel it take hold on both of them. They willingly allow your magic to take hold of them, and they're gone. You're still
Now I have to
holding the
wait a minute.
concentration spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just as the minute is about to finish, you recall that the Bulette hide armor was made from a Bulette that you killed way far away from Ushbithra.
Whoops.
Yeah. by the lake.
Right, but it was put together with all the fasteners and everything.
Yeah, so maybe.
I said I made no promises. I was going to try.
But the spell completes and they do not return. You don't know for sure. You don't see where they go.
Man, we should have done
You did
that
the
like
best
the
you could,
first time we
and
met
it was not a bad
them.
roll.
They said they didn't want to, though. They wanted to.
Yeah. They were still
They would have
young
resisted.
and naive.
Yeah.
But they build a damn nice campfire. Let's set up here.
It's actually pretty mediocre.
It feels kind of early to be camping
Yeah.
out for the night.
Yeah,
Well,
we've only been
you guys have
traveling
been
for a couple
traveling
of hours.
nearly-
Well, that's
nearly
right, huh?
6
there.
hours or so. you
All right,
can,
let's
you
keep
can
going.
proceed further,
See the
but
sun on the
you've been
horizon.
traveling a little while. It's not, not like
We
you
should
just
probably-
set out the door.
We should probably put the fire out though before we leave.
Mm.
I mean, I think it's going to go out on its own pretty soon.
Yeah, because it's mediocre.
Amethyst, you have the strong feeling that the trees around here are literally just waiting for you to leave before they stomp out the fire themselves.
Kind of want to see that.
Well, yeah. You want to make an insight check or a nature check on these trees? See how they feel
Yeah.
about
Yeah. I would love to. Ah, 8.
that? These trees look like they don't want to talk to you. They're kind of they're doing they are acting like high school girls reacting to someone else's parents at the mall.
Oh my lord.
You know, like they're aware of your presence, but they would just as soon you go ahead and leave.
Right. Well, then I'm definitely going to put out the campfire
Hmm.
and neaten it up like someone's mom would do. Would hate to disappoint them.
Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, you definitely have noticed, Amethyst, that as you travel through different areas in the Feywild, the general feeling of the nature does change, just like in the original place that you arrived, where it was just so enthusiastic and eager to please. The personality of the nature there, just like that, the personality of the nature here seems to have personality and intention and will in a way that you're not really used to. You're used to things being much more wild and less like there is a conscious entity deciding how it should act, right?
Mhm.
That personality here is pretty different from there, but it shares that element of like there's just an elevated attitude about the nature in this place.
Right on. Well, I think it's interesting, so I'm sure I'd share that with them as we're traveling along.
Yeah. So, briefly, just for fun, how does Amethyst put that, describing it to everyone else as you're just walking through this marsh?
I use exactly the words you used.
What a coincidence that is.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
what-
trying to
hey,
tell
hey.
us. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so what? They think you're like I don't know, somebody else's tree mom? I don't understand. That's weird.
Just a general sense that they weren't interested in interacting with us. So,
So you're trying to tell me that the hills are alive?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, here you think that might be literally true,
Yeah.
except for varying definitions of alive, because it's kind of like, is a spirit alive?
Mm.
It's a,
They kinda
a
grumble a
debate
moment.
for the ages.
Cat would have gotten it.
Don't you have a friend who's like a rock alive?
Oh, yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I dig in my pocket and pull out the small,
Point.
poorly made statue.
Can I see that?
I'm pretty sure you can.
No, I mean, can I look at it? Can I hold it?
Just be gentle. He's young. At least I think he's young.
It might be a little weird that you're saying that about what seems like it's a carving of Nira.
Yeah. Can I tell that it's supposed to be near him?
It's pretty badly carved, but of all the figures that you might see around, hers is the only one this would approximate.
Hmm.
No horns, no tail.
I give it back.
Yeah, I'd just tuck it in the inside pocket.
And I'm going to pretend like I didn't see it.
And I'm like, that was you, right? All right,
So
let's go.
you're continuing on your way. Just because you are traveling more into a realm of day does not mean that the marsh or swamps let up. It's still pretty rough going in this part of the Feywild. You're traveling through and hoping to find, landmarks really of any kind. You have still a general sense that you're going in the right direction, but it's a little bit harder here to feel a sense of progress because this marsh just seems like it goes on and on and on.
Have we seen any bees?
Go ahead and make another survival check for me.
Oh, nice. That's a 22.
You do periodically get the sense that there are what would pass as an ordinary beehive in the Feywild in a swamp, but at the same time, when I say ordinary, I just mean it's something that wouldn't necessarily look too out of place on the prime material plane, but there are hives here and there. The bees, basically, they don't seem to be paying you any special notice. Like, you're on the lookout for them until you spot some, but you don't catch them following you or anything.
Okay. At some point, maybe we might want to talk to some amethyst. See
What
they
would
can
you like?
tell us.
What exactly do you want me to ask them about? Like, do you want to know, like, just where the three queens are?
Well, we know. You could ask for any details about the hive on the mountain.
Mm,
Maybe what they're like or what they need.
yeah, that would be a good one. Like if they need
Yeah.
something that we could bring them.
Right on.
Anything they're interested in.
Okay. So, I certainly have speak with animals. So,
All right.
any nearby?
So, do you seek out like a hive, or you just wait until you kind of just find an individual bee flying around?
I kind of would rather talk to an individual bee,
Sure.
see how that goes.
All right. So you cast the spell. What do you say to this bee? It seems like it's flying past you. It doesn't seem to be paying special attention to you in advance of you addressing it directly.
Right. So I'll just call out, "Hello, friend. Can I bother you for a moment?"
The bee doesn't reply right away, but it does stop flying in its previous direction and then starts buzzing over you to kind of fly in circles around you and just say, "You are not a flower. What business do you have with me?"
So I'm gonna take a seed out of my pocket, and I think that with Druidcraft I can make it blossom right into like a
Yeah.
little flowery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to do that and just hold it up for it, and
Oh, such
Just-
a delicacy! And it goes and it lands on the flower and begins doing its little bee on a flower business.
so I avert my eyes to give it privacy because that sounds like something special.
It's like
and
grocery
then I just-
shopping. It's just a really nice. It's like it's a really fancy luxury grocery store.
Nice.
It's getting to
Nice.
good pawn. It's marked
Yeah.
up.
So then I just ask if it knows of any, like, of the hive, any of the activity that we're looking for. Specifically, like three queens and
Do you use the word thriae, which you would have heard at some point, but are you phrasing it that way or?
not so directly. I just kind of want to play around with the bee a little bit and not
They
play
say,
with it, but just not be direct about it with that.
"We have one queen. She is at the hive, and she is the most glorious of all creatures.
She sounds wonderful.
She
Are
is
there
very
any other?
large.
She what?
She is very large.
She sounds
Uh,
beautiful
It
and
gestures with its little
huge.
bee legs to indicate very, as far apart as they can go.
Are there any other queens nearby? Or is she the only one?
If there were others, we would drive them out. None
course.
can compete with our glorious majesty.
Of course. So I'm going to relay this information to Nira and Cadence and just express that I think that knowledge is kind of limited in scope for what we're looking for with this particular little fella.
Ask
there
if it's ever
anything-
been to the mountains.
So have you ever traveled as far as the mountains?
I have traveled in that direction, but never on to the mountain. That is where the gods live.
Oh, the gods. So who are they?
The three-part gods. They rule over all of bee kind. It gestures with its little legs again.
Well, that's really interesting. So how far is it from here?
It holds out its little legs again as far as they can go. Very far.
Well, if we wanted to honor these gods, they sound so powerful. Is there anything that they like in particular that would please them?
It looks down at the flower it's sitting on and says, "This is pretty good."
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Offerings to the gods are made to please the gods. Give them what they ask for and respect.
Of course. What is your name?
It looks honestly stunned by the question. Like, what do you mean? What?
I was just wondering if there's anything that you like to be called.
A loyal servant to my queen.
Well,
Bringer
that you
of
are.
much pollen. Behold. And it like turns around and shows like how like its legs have the big like lumps of pollen stuck all over him.
That's a good haul. Thank you for your time.
Indeed. Thank you for the delicacy of this rare pollen. May you not be eaten by giant crocodiles. And then it
Well,
flies
thank
away.
you. Yeah. So yeah, I relay that to them, and I mean, I don't know what we really expected information-wise.
Gods, huh? Well, maybe when we get closer to the destination, there will be.
Yeah.
There will be more.
Wait, did it say crocodiles?
It mentioned crocodiles.
Huh.
So mind your toes.
Crocodiles, swamps. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm.
Maybe keep an eye out for big flowers too, I guess.
Yeah.
So, if
Okay.
you continue on your journey,
Mhm.
you are still in this enormous swamp. I think it's starting to be. I think if it were me, I would be real tired of traveling through swamp by now. It's not as bad as it might be because of Cadence being so skilled at navigating you around the worst of the mud and so on. But it's kind of hot. It's a little gross. It's like
So, is it still like, are there still like trees and stuff around?
here and there, but mostly it's like mud flats and with scrub.
Okay. So we can see for a good distance.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like this marsh goes on for a while, but whoever wants to can make a perception check for me.
Sure. That is a 24.
All right. You do see some notable something on the horizon. It doesn't seem to be like a mountain or anything, but it is like some sort of a geographic feature that seems to be standing up out of the muck. It's not very big. It's a ways off still, but it's just something that kind of breaks the monotony of the plain.
There's something a little bit further ahead, which might be helpful for us.
So, Cadence, remind me and recall for everyone here and the listeners to, what your favored enemy is for your.
Dragons.
Yeah, because the thing is, when you look ahead to this this little landmark, you get like a little mental ping. You know, you hadn't specifically been scanning for them exactly, but you look at that thing and it's just like, doop.
I will kind of take a step forward and actually physically do that then.
You point and doop.
Yeah.
Make a little beep.
No,
noise.
I mean, I will
Yeah.
actually use my my trait to get a feel for it.
Yeah. Remind me everything that your whole little your whole primeval awareness or whatever it's called does.
I can expend one ranger spell slot to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile of me.
All right. There's a whole lot of fae within a mile.
Yeah.
Most of them are little small things that don't seem very interesting. But there are definitely 3 dragons coming from that little spot.
Okay. So there's some dragons up there. There are 3 of them. And
Which is a little odd. You don't usually see more than one dragon in one place.
yeah, I explained that they don't like to hang out together.
I don't think we've seen more than one dragon, period.
There is a bit of a pattern of 3s going
Yeah.
on. So,
So
Yeah.
3 breaths. What if they each have a different kind of breath?
Oh, what does that mean? Cap her in a bottle?
I don't know.
Get them to, breathe on something?
Maybe they breathe on the eyeballs.
Oh,
maybe 1 eyeball for each dragon.
Maybe.
I mean,
Snack?
Maybe.
well, I don't think we can ignore another 3,
No.
especially
No.
when the first one
Yeah.
became a 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What kind of?
in theory, like that's 1 death right there.
I don't want to think
We
about
could.
that.
Well, no, it's terrible. But I mean, you were counting the Nothics as the 3 deaths, but they're also the 3 eyes, and I don't think. I don't know.
Does that mean the other 2 are doomed then?
Maybe.
Maybe we should.
Don't-
Yeah, there may have been a
everything that we
twofer
can
with
for
the Nothic, right? Or a 3fer. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
those deaths may have and eyes may count together. So
But they may not.
I don't see any point in second guessing, really. This is not a coincidence, though. Clearly,
No.
I don't think this is the kind of thing we're going to figure it out until it's come to
Right
pass.
in our face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, 3 dragons, eh?
Yep.
Any idea what we're looking at here?
I mean, not until I get closer.
How close is close? Too close?
I need to be like right there, pretty much. I can't tell you anything about it unless I'm like right there.
I mean,
They're
I
all
could,
together?
I mean, they might fly, so that might be a moot
Yeah,
point,
no,
but-
don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, don't
Which, just
draw
for the record, I have not been walking through mud this whole way. Like, no, I don't have to do that.
Oh, hell no.
One of those camera
Hi,
tricks where she's always at the
Maddox.
same level and everybody else is.
Hi, Betty.
Well, how do we approach this?
Carefully.
Yeah. I mean, they could be small dragons. They could be big. I mean, we're not going to know until we get closer.
They could be friendly, I suppose.
Yeah.
The second dragon we met was friendly. I'd almost forgotten
It
that.
was a baby.
These could be kids too.
They could
Right.
be. True. They could be babies. But I won't know until we get closer.
Well, let's do that then.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get closer.
Should we do it stealthily?
I mean,
Well,
some
it's
of us
kind of-
can.
Flat open space, like
I can like hide in plain sight. Like soak in a large. But
oh, how nice for you.
well,
I mean-
I can't fly, so I mean we all have our things.
Otterkey can't hide behind a mountain, so
That's true.
Well,
Well, I
I mean,
mean-
we could scout ahead so you can find out more about them.
Yeah. Like we can you guys
We could do wind walk. We could do like we could shift into an animal shape. Like we've got different options if we want to sneak in.
The animal might not be a bad idea.
yeah, like if we were just small birds.
What kind of animals do we see around here anyway? I don't really notice that much, but Cadence might.
There's certainly bugs. You've been well aware of that for a little while.
We could be bees.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd move very fast.
There are lots of the various, sorts of things that you might find in a prime material swamp, although they're always a little bit unusual looking. Snakes, frogs, things like that. But you
The all three
also
eyes.
are periodically aware of what seem like strange little sprite figures that mostly have you only kind of catch in your peripheral vision at a distance. As you get approached, they seem to all just disappear and hide somewhere.
What about birds of prey? Have we seen any like owls or eagles or like hawks or anything like that?
I don't know that you have noticed any, but it doesn't necessarily mean one would be out of place.
Because I think that something that can see well from a distance might be like our best bet.
So there's like eagles and stuff like that. There's smaller birds, obviously. What's that one?
What were we in the? Oh, we were all like different things, weren't we?
Quite a menagerie.
That one time, yeah.
Yeah.
When we took the Githyanki ship.
So
Yeah.
there's ravens, owls.
What about
Those
the
are
windwalk
tiny.
spell? Might work just fine.
Yeah, but it
We've
takes
got
like a minute to get out of it.
Yeah, we're prone for a minute. So we'd have to make sure that we found somewhere that was safe for us to change.
the direct approach seems to be working lately.
Yeah, I was kind of just thinking that myself.
Maybe.
Well,
We're making
if-
it too complicated.
All right, let's
Well-
start.
I mean, if you want to be
It's-
really obvious, then I've got the Qualls feather token, and we could just fly up on a freaking bird.
I mean, do we want to like get their attention right away, or do we want to see what's there first?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's an
Well, that's
option if we
why-
don't want to be in the muck of the marsh.
Hmm.
And I would pass without a trace work on the bird.
You would so if you cast it on yourself and then wild shape into a bird, the spell would still keep going, and it would be a radius around you. And so, but at the same time, it's one thing to say it would give you a benefit to stealth checks. It's also pretty hard to make a stealth check when you are literally flying through the open sky right above something.
Right. Yeah.
With literally no cover, there's not really any reasonable way
So is
to
it
make
daytime
a stealth
now?
check. Yes. You're
Okay.
in a daytime band here.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's
All right.
really.
So what if just like how far away is it approximately?
Less than a mile.
So what if we just start going, and once we get a little bit closer, we could stealth in, like maybe two of us, to try to get a look.
Chooch is like a raccoon right now. Like,
Oh, sorry, I thought I was muted. Sorry.
Oddity's looking for tools.
He's like trying to find a
I
way to
could make
get in
something
there.
here. I don't know what.
Digging through the bag of holding. Well, we still have these
Right.
Nothic eyeballs.
Yeah.
Here somewhere. I don't
Get these
know.
eyeballs.
Just nothing really seems useful. Helpful.
So what if we do that? Like if we just start going, and like once we get a little bit closer, two of us break off and go in stealthily to see what we can see.
Yeah.
sure.
You don't want the rest
That's
of you that
reasonable.
far away anyway.
Then that way Amethyst doesn't waste any magic right now.
Sure.
Because if we have to fight these dragons, we're gonna need all we have.
Yeah.
Well, I can cast Pass Without a Trace at will, so that doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
But whoever is going to benefit from that needs to stay within that radius of you.
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
cast it too. So I mean, if it comes down to it, and just like say Alaric and I break off and go in
Yeah.
to inspect, I can still do it. So.
Oh, heaven forfend! These level 17 players waste a first level spell slot.
We're still so selfish and greedy with them.
Hey, I don't have that many of them.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
you guys
all-
are approaching till you have a
Yeah.
little bit of a better idea what's going on with this thing. And what you do start to see as you get a little closer is that this feature seems to be some sort of a stone foundation construction that almost looks like something like if you were going to try to build a temple to last in the middle of a giant swamp, you would need a pretty significant stone foundation for it, right? It looks like someone built that foundation, but then didn't actually put a building on top of it. It seems like there's what looks like there might be some statues sticking up. You can tell that what you see might be hollow inside. Like there might be an inside, like you're seeing around the outside, but it doesn't seem like there's a roof because you see like the tips of statues emerging from the other side. And the whole thing is maybe like 60 feet square. And it rises above, like, no more than like 15 feet above the mud.
Are there dragons perched on any of like the?
You don't see any dragons. Not from this distance anyway, where you're mostly just seeing like the profile of this building.
But if someone
Although,
built a
you
temple
do
in the
see
swamp,
that-
which probably
So-
fell over, so they built another one
Yeah.
that burned down and then fell over, and then got
Uh-huh.
started on the third one,
Mhm.
and then
So
never
you,
finished.
That
Good
one
strong.
stayed up.
They didn't build the temple.
so you're saying the dragons are underground?
Ruling
Okay.
over these huge tracts of land. So you do see that the tips of these statues that you see, you can't see the whole statue, but just based on what peeks out above the wall, it looks like at least some of them might actually be dragon statues,
Hmm,
but small ones.
okay.
Like the statue might be like person sized.
All right, there was the cave dragon too. Geez, how many dragons have I seen?
Jeez.
A lot.
Boy.
Can you tell anything more about where the dragons are or their nature now that we're closer?
No, I need to look at them.
Yeah. But so if we're gonna have a couple people try to sneak up,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I am absolutely going to let you make this stealth check to sneak up across this swamp. But I
Okay.
want to make it clear that what we're talking about here is an apocalypse now situation. And what I'm talking about is we see the murky water and then rising from the surface, the fully camouflage made up face coming out of the water with, the doors playing in the background.
Okay.
And my camouflage is just my beard that's kind of stuck up onto my face at the time.
All right.
I just wanted that image on record. That's all. You guys can go ahead and whoever's going on this stealth mission. Are you casting Pass Without Trace?
Yes.
Okay. So
right.
whoever's going on the stealth mission gets to add a +10 to their stealth roll. And how about those stealth rolls?
And I'm definitely going to go on that one.
I'm staying behind and maintaining Pass Without a Trace for whoever else doesn't go.
29.
Ready to heal from a distance.
And being
Always
still.
do this to me. Oh, wait, no, 38, not 28. Sorry.
All right.
29.
Yeah. So I
But
you
you give me
guys
by
are
point again.
yeah. So as I mentioned, like you guys don't even have to get your whole head above the water. You just like just peeking out. You approach this thing, and at least from this initial approach angle, there does not seem to be anywhere that is designed to be accessed from this level. It seems to be open on top, but there's no like pathway with stairs or anything. Do you make your way around the perimeter?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
So you
Before we
confirm-
try to like duck under the water.
Yeah, you confirm all the way around that there does not seem to be any like stairway, and if you attempt to look under the water, you find that it is completely murky, but also that it's not super deep here. Like the ground under the water is like soft. You would imagine it's probably very sort of, goopy mud for several feet down, but there doesn't seem to be like any underwater entrance. You get the feeling just looking at it that it seems like this is something that's designed to be open, accessed from above.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have to
One of
find
you
some way
wants
to go up there.
so I know Cadence as a tabaxi has a climbing speed, so you could scale this wall without.
I just
making
walk up the
anything
wall.
check.
Yeah, we both
Yeah,
have
you both have spider
climb
climb, so
too.
yes,
Yeah.
you easily do it, and you leave muddy swamp footprints on this pristine white marble. Did I say it was pristine white marble? It is.
Yeah.
Not
Not
anymore.
anymore, though. Yeah, now there's swamp footprints on it. But you both super stealthily peek over the side. Still got the swamp camouflage, even though it doesn't actually match the background now. You see. Well, let's go ahead and go to the map. How about that?
Okay.
I've found a map.
Aha. You see in this, indentation within this foundation, you see 3 dragons, 3 adult dragons. They're not as big as dragons can sometimes get, but pretty big. There's a black one, a green one, and a gold one. And then other features here include various small person-sized dragon statues that do, at least at first examination, appear to be just statues. There is what looks like a well of some kind. And then in the center, between all these dragons, is a plinth that is holding what seems to be a variety of beautiful treasures, including the most conspicuous part is what looks to be a golden dragon statue clutching over its head an incredibly beautiful crystal. And the crystal seems to be glowing with a white light. And the 3 dragons, as you get a better look at them, seem like they've had a rough time of it recently. They don't look as healthy as you might normally expect. And what you see in this incredibly stealthy peek is that all 3 of them are sort of laying down at rest, and all 3 of them have their eyes locked on that crystal.
Okay. I will just kind of look at Alaric and be like, and just kind of like wave to go back down.
Yeah, I'll nod and start moving that way.
and we'll make our way back to let the group know what we've seen.
So tempted to say dead end, nothing there. Should move on.
Yeah, right.
Huh.
3 dragons entranced.
Nice statue.
I don't know if it was a statue so much as that crystal thing.
There's like a little dragon statue holding a crystal.
Yeah.
Mm.
It
They were
looks,
like, go ahead.
I just gotta say it. It looks balanced, precariously so.
They look rough. Like
Yeah.
they've seen some things.
Yeah.
Were
You
they
don't doubt.
Nom.
other maybe?
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's hard
so.
to say.
Make a nature check with whatever bonus you get for your favorite enemy creature.
I gotta look it up. Survival check. 17.
So you got the feeling from them. They look like they might have sustained some superficial injuries, but by and large, the impression you get looking at them is that each of them is kind of the dragon equivalent of if a person hadn't eaten anything or gotten much good sleep or bathed in a few days. Like that's the kind of rough that they look.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, almost like they're entranced, like they've forgotten how to take care of themselves.
Or they've been at this for a long time.
I mean, dragons are usually pretty resilient. So
Well,
Maybe they could use some help and they'd be grateful and would return a favor.
What kind of dragons are these anyway, Cadence? I don't know dragons from each other.
well, it's a red dragon is a fire dragon, isn't it?
What you see is gold, black, and green.
Oh, that's right. I was looking at the gold one thinking it was red.
Nope.
So metallic dragons are usually, more peaceful than the other ones. I mean, they can still be kind of assholes if they want to, but they tend to be a little nicer. Black dragons are pretty not nice at all. And green dragons are not nice, but not as mean as black dragons.
so I wonder what would happen if one were to, I don't know, from a distance, shatter this crystal that's got them entranced.
I don't even know what this crystal is. Maybe we need it.
I mean, I still think that we somehow need their breath. I just don't know how.
Maybe they've all breathed on this thing.
Or maybe they need to.
Or
What
maybe
if-
it's their last breath that's required.
Harder to catch.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what would happen if we just walked right in them.
Well, if whoever does that's got to be ready to run, though, I think.
Fly.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We can climb up the wall, but I mean, we're gonna have to fly or something to get up there. We're not gonna be able to just run away because, I mean, one, they can fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Two,
certainly
there's nowhere to
recognizing
run.
this extremely large, flat, open plain of swamp is not optimal for running away from dragons.
I mean,
Especially
and,
not 3.
and I mean, once we're up at the top of this tower, we can't just run away. I mean, we're like at the top of the tower.
I mean, I could cast Wind Walk so that you could change forms, but again, there's that minute
That's a long
where
time.
you're, yeah. I believe there's a minute for both Wind Walk and the animal shapes.
For animal shapes, I think there might be an initial casting time, but once it's cast, I think you can rapidly change it.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't have the spell up, but that was my recollection. Because it's kind of designed that you can sort of refresh it, but it's sort of like it's like an everybody at once sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if we have the combination plate and some of us wind walk up there, and as we're apparating, somebody else can start a conversation or.
Well, we do have one
I
person
don't
here
know.
that speaks Draconic.
I can with this mask.
I can with
Put
my
on that
bullet.
dragon mask.
I mean, Archie and I could just go up there and have a dialogue with these dragons. Maybe they will tell us what they need. But
Maybe
I mean,
start with the gold one if you're going to, then, right?
they have a well. I mean, they're all three right there. I don't think that.
Yeah, this place, as you can see on the map, like these squares are 5-foot squares. This is not a big place. There's no talking to one of them that the other two aren't going to hear unless you have some magical means of doing so.
Silence.
The thing is that's really weird is that they have like this big treasure hoard in the middle of all of them, and like dragons don't share with each other or anyone else.
What about the
Mhm.
well? There's a well there, though, too.
Yeah,
Was this place built for them, or did they find it?
maybe it was built to trap them.
If this is Praxis's doing, she probably set this up.
I mean, it does look out of place, but then again, Feywild is strange.
I wonder. If this thing can capture the attention of 3 dragons, it can probably capture the attention of 3 queens just as well.
Maybe.
Is any of the players currently here proficient in Arcana? I'm pretty sure Ket is, but Ket is.
I think he's
here.
the only one.
Only
Wait.
if only Ket were here.
Stupid cat.
Actually,
I look at the paper.
he's picking his nose.
Oh,
Of course.
it's so gross.
Well,
And one of the
I say we
statues.
just go for it.
so here's another thought. Like, if we want to just try to break eye contact with the thing and see if that works, I do have fog cloud that might obscure that.
Amethyst, you can make a wisdom check.
24.
That's pretty good. You, as a druid, know that one of the spells that's theoretically in your repertoire, a relatively recent addition, is a spell known as antipathy or sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
And you suspect that it's quite possible that this crystal is employing a sympathy effect. Because essentially what that does is when you cast such a spell or enchant such an item, you choose a creature type, and those types of creatures will feel an intense urge to approach the thing that's so enchanted. And basically, they will have to would have to make a wisdom saving throw to do anything other than approach it and stare at it.
So they're trapped. They're like literally trapped.
If that is what it is, you think that it's
Right.
possible that the fact that they are in an unusual situation, all just staring at a crystal, seems like that might be what it is.
Yeah.
What if
So-
we like dispelled magic?
So
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking to
can,
see if I
um,
have it armed.
I can touch a creature and end an effect such as that, or we could attempt to dispel such the device or the crystal. But yeah,
To what end, though? To-
Right.
For them to owe us a favor?
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
And hope that they won't eat us.
Let
Or we
me
would just
refine my
fight them.
description just a moment. They, once they have approached that distance, they are not limited to only staring at it, but they can't willingly move away from it. So they're not necessarily just like zombies staring at it, but if they are so magically trapped, if that's what's happening, they would not be able to bring themselves to move further away.
could they still fight?
Potentially.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And
You
again,
just can't leave
that
it.
that
They
is
just
just
can't leave it.
based on the version of the spell that Amethyst could potentially cast. You
Is
don't
something
know
so
for
simple
sure
as-
that it works quite like that, but that seems to be the general sort of effect that's happening.
Is something so simple as covering it with a blanket enough to break it if they can't see it, or do they know it's there? Any ideas? Amethyst?
You know, if it's
It's there's an aura around the target, so I'm not sure if throwing a blanket over it would override that.
Like in theory, if they didn't see it, they could make a saving throw. So like if it was not if they couldn't see where it was, like if you obstructed it somehow from their view, they could make a saving throw, but it doesn't automatically end.
But if this was something intended to trap dragons, it wouldn't trap the queens unless they are some form of dragon bee.
sure.
So I only have to be 120 feet away, and I can cast Fog Cloud, and we can see what happens.
See if they're released.
It would obscure their vision, at the least.
I mean, do we want to let them go before
and
we?
then we can have some popcorn and watch Dragon Fight Club, possibly, or
Or help the gold one if that's truly one that's not as evil.
Maybe they'll just be so ready to get away from it all. Free treasure?
Vacation.
I mean, free treasure from a dragon.
I mean,
After
I-
being trapped that way for who knows how long, it might be worth their lives.
they look pretty hungry though.
Whose
Yeah.
treasure is it?
I would try to make that bargain before releasing them, though, because afterwards they're just dragons that are free.
Mhm.
Yeah,
If
but
they
can
are
you
trapped
trust
They may or
a
may not.
dragon?
They may or may not feel any appreciation. They may not care
Well,
about
I'm
humans.
not, I
enough.
don't really care that much about the treasure.
Mhm.
But maybe we do. We don't know what's in it. It could be something that we need. We don't know.
We certainly
we
have
can
some
go-
spells
What
that
I'm
require.
saying is that I'm more concerned with getting past all of this than collecting whatever loot is here.
sure.
But we can get right
But there's
past it.
definitely a reason it's here, and
Yeah,
there's definitely something we need to do.
we could walk right past it, and they're not going to bother us. That's the thing. Like we kind of have to do something. It's here for
Yeah.
a reason.
It's got to be.
Another game.
Mm-hmm.
At least this time, maybe the hosts are interesting.
Maybe there's a way we can avoid killing them, is all I'm saying.
And avoid them killing
And
us.
yeah, our best guess is they're not going to attack us on sight, and they'll hear us out and perhaps have a conversation.
A bargain.
Mm-hmm.
If the...
And they may know something of the bee queens and the honey and whatnot. They should be wise, right? Dragons are old and they live near here, so
I mean, they fell for
Or-
this.
well, that's a good point.
Cadence, what do you think?
I would like to try to talk to them. I mean,
think
if
that's-
before we release anything, try to talk to them. They could definitely hurt us while we're there, but like if we left, they couldn't follow us.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on board.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory, if our suspicions are true.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are trapped by Praxis, maybe they'll be happy to help us with that problem too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's
All
only
right.
one way to find out.
It's a different kind of campfire to approach, but at least there's 3 of them this time.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have any fancy shoes, but I could try to scale it.
I can put a rope up if you've got one.
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's climbing out of the muck. The wall is kind of sheer, but it's not that high. With 2 of you with spider climb and the access to rope, I think it would not be difficult for all of you to climb to the top of this thing.
You also have someone who floats.
All right. So who, by the way, has had Arwen in their backpack?
Me.
Yeah, I figured. Just checking. Because she was not hopping through all that swamp.
She probably floats too. All right.
It's yucky.
Yeah. So I think, every time anyone looks over at Amethyst, she's just got the sort of bunny with the unicorn horn head sort of plopped on top of her head. And those big sort of, because remember, Almirage, not normal bunny size, like, small dog sized legs kind of flopping over your shoulders.
So Almirage are the corgi of the large bunny world. Well,
But-
let's do this.
Yeah, let's.
All right. So
Alright.
you climb and you approach, and as you crest the surface of the wall and begin, make your non-stealthy presence known, you definitely hear the one of the dragons is the first to react. It's the black one, and it says, "Who are you? Get away from here! This is my treasure!" And it is doing it like it's not letting the crystal out of its sight, but it's kind of looking over at you and kind of trying to do like look at both, like, but it's also glancing at the other dragons, like how it's going to react. The green one sort of picks up its head and is regarding you, sort of casually, but also with its, the eyes are a little bit, wider space than a person. It's clearly also looking at the crystal, but glancing in your direction. The gold one does not appear to immediately respond to your presence.
Remember everybody to spread out in case they do breathe.
Yeah. So it only burns like one of us. I call out to the dragon, it doesn't look like it's anybody's treasure right now.
It's mine. You are mistaken. And then
Well,
the
why
green
don't
one,
people get it?
the green one says, Now, Sychus. Obviously, we disagree about that, but that's no reason to be rude to new guests. Who are you, strangers? What brings you here?
We are travelers going to find the Thrae, and we happened to cross this. Is it a temple?
A smirk crosses the features of the green dragon and just says, "The Thrae? Why, I know their nest. Their hive is not far away. I could direct you there if you help me with this little problem." And then the gold dragon speaks for the first time and just says,
Results.
Muvard cannot be trusted. But it doesn't even turn to react to you at all. Incidentally, just briefly, as far as the map goes, where have you climbed the wall? Like where are you guys positioned in this layout? You can have it be wherever you like.
Alaric, you wanted to check out the well.
Yeah.
Did we want to climb up where the well was?
I think that's a good idea. Also, the well makes good cover.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
Well, when you are on the wall, like where I'm putting your tokens right now, the top of the well is at the level of your feet. It doesn't extend upward any further than that. It does go down,
Mm.
obviously, but as you are standing on top of the wall, you're even with the top of the well.
Okay.
That's still fine. As gigantic people fly in.
They're huge.
I actually did that once.
Flew into a well.
Turned into a
No,
giant
flew
person,
while I
flew
was
in.
huge.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I didn't
Different
necessarily mean to have Alaric off by himself, like that's somehow thematic or anything. I just put you where it looks obvious.
He's a loner, a rebel.
Dot.
Dottie.
Well, I didn't want all of us to be right next to each other, so it actually wouldn't be surprising that you'd kind of separate.
So at the words of the gold dragon, the green dragon just turns to you again, and I'll just go ahead and reassert right here, none of these dragons at any time stop looking at the crystal. However, they do kind of will side eye to you guys, but the green dragon is just saying, of course, Dezoy would say that because he hopes to claim this treasure for himself. However, if you could see your way to making that treasure mine by disposing of these two pretenders, I would be happy to show you to the Thriae hive. I could even provide you with an introduction. And then the black dragon says, "No, the treasure's mine!"
Is the dragon lying?
Yeah, I was gonna make an insight check on the green dragon.
Make an insight check. Yeah, go ahead. And
Oh, that's not pretty good. Insight. 11.
Are they all speaking Draconic? So like
they
Oh,
are
yeah.
speaking common.
17 on the inside check.
Okay. The green dragon seems sincere.
So,
It's certainly smarmy, but it does. You cannot. It does. I mean, but it seems like it's. If it seems like it's making you a straight up deal, like you help it in the way it's asking for it, it'll do what it says.
we've not heard from you, Dezoy, other than to say that Movad is lying.
You have found your way into a precarious trap, my friends. But it is not a trap for those such as yourselves. My advice would be to be on your way before one of these kills you.
I mean, that's not bad advice.
How
But
did
why
you
are
come to be?
That's true.
why are you all trapped here?
The black dragon, and I'll just go ahead and like their names at this point. You've heard all three. Sycus is the black dragon, Dezoy is the gold dragon, Muvod is the green dragon. And Sycus says, "I was flying over and I saw the treasure and I wanted it, but then these two tried to take it from me." And Muvod says, "That is pretty much how it happened."
I mean,
That's strange. It would just treasure would just appear here out of nowhere as you all happen to be flying by.
does the
Someone
tr-
may have left it out to lure them here because they've been, harming local property or something like this. May be intentional. Who
Dezoy
knows?
says, "That is almost certainly what happened. However, now that we are here, I cannot permit such a glorious treasure to be left to either one of these two. They are not worthy of it."
I
Nero.
don't see.
Mira, can you look through your ring to see if that treasure is even legit?
I certainly can. going to look through the magic ring of truthiness. And see what I see.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check with advantage.
See, a 12 and a 15. So 18.
18. You would guess that some of it might not be as valuable as it initially looks, but it is physically present. So basically you don't detect any like illusion exactly, but what you sense there might be is a degree of glamour on it. So it's there, but what you determine as being completely unobstructed by any sort of like a magical glamour or illusion of any kind is that central dragon statue with the crystal. Like, that is exactly what it appears to be. The other stuff is sort of like, it's really there, it's not an illusion, but it might be the sort of thing where, like, you see a gold coin and you say, oh, that's great, and you pick it up, it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's kind of, it's not that heavy. It might actually just be gold plated, but so you think some of it might be not quite as valuable as it would initially be. There's a little bit of a magic on it to just say, ooh, that looks pretty. And then you pick it up, it's like ordinary.
Yeah, there's definitely something funny. Like, it's here, but it's had a little bit of a shine put on it, if you know what I mean.
More cheese. Feels like we're chasing cheese half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Psycho says, there's no cheese here. It's just gold, and it's my gold.
But what if it's not really even there? Like, what if it's not really gold?
He
What if it's just-
he half-heartedly lashes out at you with his tail, but he's actually not quite close enough to hit. It seems like more of like a warning shot.
I mean, what if it's just wood painted gold?
Muvad says, it is the possessor of the treasure that makes an assessment of its value. I intend that to be me. What do you say? I have made a proposal. The other two have told you to go away. I can help you. If you help me.
About how big is the orb in the center? Grapefruit sized?
Like the crystal itself?
Yeah.
It's like maybe a foot long and about 6 inches like across.
Okay. Well. Yeah, I got nothing at the moment.
Yeah. How long have you guys been here?
Dezue says, it matters not. My patience will outlast the others. My endurance will outlast the others. They may stay here until they starve if they like, and then I will claim the treasure that is rightfully mine.
You all look a little hungry.
That sounds good. I think that's a good plan.
Psyche says, you have food? Give me the food.
Don't have any dragon food.
He starts edging in your direction.
Well,
Yeah.
He's still like keeping his eye on the crystal, but he does seem to be moving in your direction.
I got to move away.
Yeah.
yeah. Time to go.
Kind of
Yeah.
up a little bit.
I see no reason to get involved.
I see that
But
we
it's here for
probably
a
have to.
reason.
Is it though? Or is it just here also, coincidentally?
Yeah, this place doesn't
What?
really breed coincidences.
No, it's definitely not a coincidence.
And we can talk about it further away from the hungry one too.
What do you guys know of Grandmother Praxis?
Muvad immediately just says, well, I can tell you anything you like about Grandmother Praxis.
Of course he can.
But I am
Well,
going to
yeah.
need a favor first.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I already know a
Dayzoy,
lot about her. So
Dayzoy interrupts and says, Muvad cannot be trusted, but neither can Grandmother Praxis.
that's the truest thing I've heard since we got here.
Sounds fair.
All right, thanks. Ready, guys? Shall we leave them to their
I just, I
waiting game?
It's like when you've got a big flashing button in front of you and the sign says "Don't push the button."
What
Like
if we
you want
You
to
just
push it
really want to
really
push the
bad.
button.
what if we moved the crystal?
What if
Away
I just
from the
shatter
treasure.
it?
What if we just threw
Then-
it in the well?
No.
Then we have 3 dragons that are free to chase and eat us.
But if we move it and they're still stuck, fixated on it, they'll follow it, leaving the treasure behind.
That's true.
Yeah, but who
Maybe.
of us can outrun a dragon? I can't.
Don't have to run it for long. You just have to outrun it to a place where you can get away and leave them behind.
Well,
Because they will not travel after you. At least I
I-
hope, anyway.
do have a cloak that'll pop me 500 feet away real
Yep.
fast.
I don't know if you could teleport with it, but you could teleport away.
She could take it with her.
Yeah, but I don't want to go down there and get the thing and get blasted by fire breath or something, y'all. Like,
Cadence,
That's
you
the
could
problem.
probably you could probably let Nira know that the black dragon breathes acid, the green dragon breathes clouds of poison, and the gold dragon is capable of both fire breath and weakening breath, which basically saps your strength.
How heavy or how large and how actually I know stones. How heavy would that crystal be?
Well, it is currently in the grasp of this dragon statue. You don't know if it would be easily separated. The crystal itself, maybe 10 pounds. With the statue, probably considerably more than that.
I might be able to just pluck it out and move it at a distance.
no, just cast shatter. Oh my god.
No, if you
Yeah,
break
but if
it,
you break it, then
Yeah,
then
then
they can
dragon
just
rumble
go.
and it'll be awesome.
except that we would be in the middle of
Except
it.
that- yeah, like we're like right here, and then there's no more compulsion holding them here. Like the crystal is what is holding them in place. If we break the crystal and break the spell, then they could come after us more easily. That's what Alark is saying. If we move the crystal somewhere, and they have to follow it where we move it,
Yeah, but who's gonna go down and get the like?
I can move it from here if it can be dislodged.
Amethyst, because you are familiar with a similar spell, you think that if you were to go up there and have direct contact with it, you do think that you would probably have a chance of finding out a little bit more about how this particular function is working. But you would need to be able to touch it.
What's the proficiency for that? Would it be Arcana?
Well, for you, I think nature or like I had you do wisdom before.
Yeah.
Yeah, wisdom I think is really probably the best.
I think I can hold the crystal up. If the statue is destroyed below it, then it should be free to move. That's one spell that I know. And I'll cast Mage Hand and make it appear in front of me. This little guy can pick up something about that size. It would be a stretch. Can't pick it up with a statue attached. But if I'm holding onto the crystal with this,
I think
the
Mage
statue
Hand
is
5
destroyed.
pounds, isn't it?
Up to 10.
Oh,
10.
there you go.
Do you want to know anything about why it was placed here and why the dragons were lured? Do you want to know this information before you can smash it or move it or anything like that?
So the Muvad says, I am quite curious to know more about this fascinating treasure. However, my preference would be to know it, owning it. And the Dayzoy says, one of these other two will kill you if you try to take the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might just.
Oh, so the crystal is part of the treasure.
Indeed.
Ah,
Mm,
But
perhaps
you
the
won't.
most important part of the treasure.
You do realize that the crystal is holding you here and that you can't leave because
And
of it, right?
and yeah, well, and Desoi just says, "Of course, can you not see? It is a glorious thing. Quite well might be the most valuable artifact I've ever encountered. I could not possibly leave here without claiming it. Certainly not leaving it to the likes of these two." And then
Certainly.
Sychus just says, "No, it's mine!" And then Muvad
I mean-
kind of grimaces at you and says, "You see what I've been dealing with."
I've seen a lot of really nice rocks, and that's not bad, but it's not that.
Guys, I want to push the button.
and
We
then
know that
we'll
would bring
have
the building down.
the 3 dragons are going to be pissed off, and then we're going to have to fight them or flee them.
Well, somebody could just cast Dispel Magic from. Do they have to touch it? Or can they just do it from here?
I think
But that's
Dispel
as bad
Magic
as
has
shattering
range.
I don't have Dispel Magic.
Only
Orange.
Cat has it. Like,
I mean,
at will.
I don't
I
have
think
it
I
on
used
me.
to,
Yeah, I don't
and I
have it on
don't
me.
anymore.
Oh,
That was like 2 oaths
It's a
ago.
different oath.
Oh no, it's still an oath.
Okay.
I've got the power. 120 foot range.
But you could just do it from where you are.
But that
Yeah.
would end the spell presumably and let them all free. As
Right,
bad as
and then
shattering it.
They can fight over the treasure. It's not because it's still there and it's still intact.
But maybe they would see things as they really are if the magic was dispelled.
That would just mean they'd come after us.
Not necessarily.
Well,
I mean,
I
it
mean,
might
they
be.
are hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
They're
gonna be
still
pretty pissed.
dragons. They're
Yeah.
still dragons.
There would still be treasure there, and we would not be interested in that.
Oh, yeah,
And,
we will
I mean, the
have
crystal
helped
would-
them out of a bind.
The crystal would still be there.
Mm-hmm.
One,
Yeah.
maybe 2 of them. I would think that helping might actually get some way with them, but not all 3.
Maybe let's move over behind like the gold dragon.
You guys want to do that?
At least in between
Away
the green
from-
and the gold.
Yeah, away from the black dragon because
I mean,
Yeah.
where you guys tell me where you want to be. Like they
I
don't
was say-
seem like they're interfering with your movement. Certainly not.
There's
as you move
also
around the
that
outside.
option of choosing to help one. I could unglamour only one of them, but that certainly offsets the balance.
Yeah, and he's not going to help us. So,
But the gold?
oh, the gold might, but I doubt it.
At the very least, the gold seems the least likely to kill us immediately.
I don't think any of them have anything of use that we need.
They're dragons. That's got to be something.
Yeah.
We've already
Well,
seen
then
how
yeah, we may
powerful
as well
they-
just leave then if none of them have anything we need.
This would not be here if it were not something we need to
I agree.
deal with.
With a lot.
Still say we push the button.
That's
And
the
you-
question. Yeah,
And you've called me
all
destructive.
3 or one or just one.
I think I'm accidentally rubbing off on you the wrong way.
If we help you, Daysway, can you protect us?
When you say help, what is your intention?
We don't want your treasure. But we know that this is here for a reason and we need to know why.
I would know that as well. However, to break this stalemate at this time will require the deaths of these 2 others. And the black dragon says, "Hey, you're talking about me! That's my treasure!" And
Yeah, that's your death.
Muvad just says, "You're going to make a deal with him? I'm the one that knows useful things."
Yeah, but we already
Ask
know
him. Ask
everything you know.
Dazoi if he'll lead you to the Thryae. Go ahead, ask him.
Well, you already said they're not far away. I'm sure we can find them.
Yeah, we were already like well on our way as it is.
Hmm. But an introduction, knowledge of the secret ways in, protection from the other dangers you would encounter. Go ahead, ask Dazoi if he'll give you any of that.
Well, what can you offer, Dazoi?
My advice.
Care to be a little more specific?
You seek the Thryae for their honey.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
Well, that's disappointing.
I at least offer my advice without cost.
Yeah. Not worth it for itself, or not worth it for a bigger purpose, though.
Can we move?
Yeah, where do you want to be? You didn't tell
We
me.
were like,
Not in the vicinity of the Black Dragon.
Okay, yeah, tell me where. I will put you
diametric
anywhere you want to
opposite.
be.
And the gold.
So between the green and gold.
Yeah.
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 All right, you got a nice little platform to stand on right there.
All right. That's better.
All right, good. I'm glad we settled that.
Nice.
I think I have like protection from poison breath.
Hmm.
Archie, do the dispel magic on the thingy. Just do it. Just do it.
When we get
I'm getting
killed
impatient.
from
Sorry.
fighting this dragon, I'm going to come back and haunt you. Do you want to just dispel for one, Archie? Do you think that's the best plan?
At this point, I think balance is more important.
So all three.
See what
Dispel
happens.
magic on the
Okay.
crystal, and then we can step back and watch.
Rip everyone.
All right.
It's balance.
All right, you're going to try to dispel the crystal? Is that what you're...
I am going to, I guess, give it all I got and cast Dispel Magic at level 5.
I want to be behind Cadence.
So,
Yeah, I've got my bow out with my dragon slaying arrow already ready to go.
I'm afraid I am going to need a spellcasting ability check from you. That's going to be charisma for you, Autarky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which basically what this means for Dispel Magic, as you know, because it's your spell, is that it is a higher than 5th level magical effect.
Mhm.
I'd like to hit him with guidance, please.
So you may add a d4 to your check.
So roll a 12. My natural D4 is plus 4, 16. So another 4 gives you 20. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I didn't actually roll a D4. Duh.
Okay.
Have one in
You
here.
just added 4 without rolling the...
Right.
Just
Because I'm that
natural
good. So
Your,
18.
your spell slot is expended and the crystal flickers, but the effect remains.
Huh. Whew. That's got some mojo.
All right. Well, at least we know
Give it
something.
a bigger oomph.
The black dragon is saying, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And Muvad does say, "I would have you not interfere with the glory of my treasure, please."
Yeah, just testing a theory. Don't mean to disturb anything.
That's not gonna hurt.
You could try again.
I mean, yeah, I can try again.
Maybe can you do it at a bigger level?
How about, can we double guidance him?
No.
Nope.
That-
No, so I have to do it. I have to cast at one level before, but I could roll better for the actual.
I can spell
Yeah,
better.
basically if the spell slot is already going to be lower than the effect, which you know it is now, it actually doesn't at a higher level doesn't even make any difference. So basically,
wouldn't-
you,
it
you
wouldn't
could
work.
cast it at the lowest,
Stunned for
like the
4 seconds.
basic level for dispel magic, and it's the same effect.
If Tet was here right now,
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah,
off
it's
picking
not
his
really
nose.
my specialty area.
If Ket were here, he'd be still picking his nose, though.
probably.
I mean, I can still cast fog cloud and see what happens.
You look at the
Can
note
you
again.
just spell it right away?
I think it will. I can just.
You look at the note again, by the way, and this time instead of Ket's picture, you see drawn on the note is another tiny little note that says "I owe you," and then a picture of Ket with the thumbs up and the smile.
Oh. Yeah, you do owe me, buddy.
It's squared.
So it doesn't say that I could disperse it at will. It says it lasts for the. Well, I mean, but Christiana did set precedents that allowed me to dispel it when we were at the gala.
Yeah, I think you are high enough level now. You are a Tempest cleric. I think you have fine control over it. You could dispense it. You could get rid of it if you wanted.
So I mean, we can all back way up, 120 feet back.
Yeah, how are we gonna go back 120 feet? We'll be back in the swamp. It's like not that big.
I can.
Incidentally, Muvad clears his throat and his enormous dragon throat and just kind of says, I hate to be picky about these things, but it would seem as though you have not got a very well thought out plan. And you have one individual here trying to offer you useful information to achieve the goal that you have set for yourselves, and 2 others who will not help you, and you want to just sow chaos. I do admire that in a way. However, it is not in my interests at the moment. I would ask that you not do whatever you're doing, and instead, I will repeat my promise to help you find the Thrae hive, and to introduce you to the queens, and to grant you protection on the way there, should you help me dispose of these other 2, if you could call them dragons.
No.
What kind of oath could you swear?
You can't.
He glances to you, Cadence, and is just kind of saying, can't I?
No.
I'm
I
the
know
only one
about
even
you.
promising you anything.
That's the thing, though. I mean, you're just making promises. You don't have to keep them.
How high is the dais in the middle?
So the platform that the dragons are sitting on is about 5 feet above the base level of the floor, and then the platform that the treasure is sitting on is like another 5 feet. So they're basically looking straight at eye level the crystal as they are reclined on this platform.
3 breaths.
Almost like it was designed for dragons to sit in this spot and not move.
Yeah. Maybe they need to breathe on the crystal.
There's only really one way that can happen.
I have shatter at the ready. I'm just saying.
But if they break it, then
Yeah,
it's no use.
Yeah, if you move on, just says, do not shatter that crystal.
I'm with him.
And and then Psycho says, yeah, it's mine. And then Dazoi says, it's clearly magical. Your shatter spell will have no effect on it. However, I would advise that you not try. You may disrupt some of the other treasure, which I have not been able to closely examine yet.
maybe they're right. Maybe we just leave them to it, and we go find the queens on our own, and maybe this just isn't worth our time.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, I
go
don't see
ahead.
another way around it, really.
And when you find that you run into difficulties, you'll know where to find me, because I am not leaving this spot until those two are dead and the treasure is mine.
Really depends on how long it takes before all three of you starve to death. Which I'm gathering you're probably about the same age or same strength. It's probably around the same time. And even if only one of you dies first,
Psycho says,
I'm
"No,
sure
I'm
we
the
can-
strongest.
he's
I'll
probably
last
gonna die
longer."
first.
Yeah, he's pretty high strung.
He probably goes through his food a lot faster.
He doesn't have any.
Yeah.
His blood
Can you
pressure
see
is
his
probably
ribs?
sky high.
Can you see any of their ribs a little bit?
You can make a perception or a nature check.
Animal
Oh,
handling.
nice. 18 plus, where is it? You said nature or animal handling?
Nature
Oh, I'll do animal handling.
or I
That's
said
a
perception or
27.
nature is what I said, but
Oh, what was it?
I said
Perception.
perception or nature, but
Okay.
it's also like if you would specifically have like bonuses related to observing dragons, I think.
Okay, so it's 27.
All right. Yeah, I think if you were going to make an assessment of like which one of these, like if they were literally going to sit here until two of them starve to death, you think that the gold dragon would probably have the edge in that type of competition. However, you also do see that they have some various, scrapes and scars, and you think that it may well be that on that basis, one or the other of the other two would not let it come to that. Right? You get the feeling that the three of them right now have not just started a fight because each of them fears the other two ganging up on it.
Now I want to kill dragons. What do you guys want to do?
Do you think these dragons are from here? Do you think they are native to this plane?
Probably not.
Could they not be banished?
If they, failed their saves. I mean, it's hard to say.
I
Well,
mean,
like-
they could be
Smart.
banished for a minute either way.
Yeah.
And if I cast it at level 7, I could make all three of them disappear if they all failed their saves.
You could try it and see what happens. But they're going to be pretty mad when they come back. If we touch their stuff. But we have a minute to touch their stuff.
Am I doing this?
Do it.
It's gonna
What else
all
are we
be
gonna do?
worthless.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be worthless.
It'll be
Okay.
fun.
Just remember, if they don't all go away, the other
All right.
or one will strike some sort of balance. We'll have to be ready.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, guys, I'm going to push the button.
Okay, do it.
I'm going to cast Banishment at level 7, targeting all three dragons.
With guidance.
All right. So go ahead. Well, guidance. The guidance isn't going to make a difference for the casting spell.
Alright,
Bane
this is
would be the
for-
All
one.
right.
Seems
They
really
need
important.
a charisma saving throw of 19.
Okay. The green dragon rolled a 25. The
Hey, the
gold
other-
dragon rolled a 28.
What's the other likely outcome?
Black dragon rolls a 9 and then uses his legendary resistance.
Yeah. Well, it didn't do any worse. There's that.
No, probably just pissed him off.
I'm going to cast
Yeah,
Bart's Skid
at
on
that point, Psycho
Arwen.
says, "Hey, stop that!"
We're just trying to help you. I know you don't think that, but we are.
Muvad basically just says, You're not going to get another one of those before he just attacks.
Yeah, it's okay.
What if the crystal went down the well?
I
They
said
would-
that, and you guys were like, "No, don't do it."
I didn't hear it.
I said, "What if we chuck it down the well?
I didn't.
Then they
hear
would
it.
have to go down inside the well. Would they even fit?"
They
So
would
it's
have to
coming.
fight over who gets to go down the well.
Well, I mean, yeah, in theory, they'll lose eye contact and
Would Gus
make a save.
Yeah, they would lose eye contact with the crystal if we chucked it down the well. That was why we didn't do it.
I mean, I could still cast Fog Cloud and see what happens.
And let
What if
all
we
three
just-
dragons loose.
What if we just throw the crystal in the marsh? Chuck it over the edge. And then they have to go down there.
God.
I mean,
What of these statues that we were seeing? Can we see anything closer of those at this distance?
Make an investigation.
There's one right
check.
behind us, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this distance is like, oh, you mean that one? Like the one
Yeah.
that's right there? Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the ones on the map or if those were just
Yeah.
artifacts from another
Well,
map.
you can even get your stonework bonus or whatever, Mr. Dwarf.
Oh, yeah.
Get your stone on.
Nice. Get stoned. All right.
Get stoned.
Oh, what is that? I always forget. All right. Stone cunning. That's for a history check.
Okay, well, I just go ahead and roll with advantage then for investigation.
Okay. That is a total of a dirty 20.
You get the feeling that these statues, they do seem to be inanimate. They are of exquisite detail, but there is not really any indication of tool marks at all, leading you to believe that they were probably conjured or shaped magically rather than carved in any traditional way.
Do they show any signs of weathering?
No. But they are also marble, and, you know, they're pretty sturdy.
Do they look newer than the rest of the building?
No, they look about the same.
okay, guys, want to fight the dragons?
Well, if I take a long rest, then I can actually prepare sympathy, antipathy, and then I could cast antipathy on the crystal, which would actually make them repelled from it.
Would it overcome its effect?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it would just neutralize it.
They do a wisdom saving throw.
Does it turn
so
into ambivalence instead?
I don't know.
Yeah, you think it's possible that it could basically just cancel it out, like interference.
Yeah.
Ambivalence.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high,
Well-
powerful magics.
And it couldn't
If
be
you
just
do
by-
that-
Spell.
We're going to have to fight them. If you don't do
It's-
that, we're going to have to fight them.
If we take action in any way, we're probably gonna have to fight at least one because there's one that's already hungry.
Move on.
And a
Still
dragon
sitting right
is a
there
dragon.
is just going so much talking. Honestly, all
What
of you
else do you
really
have to
need someone
do?
to lead you. You
Look at
need
your treasure and
guidance
just
in
be
your
quiet.
adventuring.
You've got nothing better to do.
Look at your treasure. It's so shiny.
Would be
Do not taunt Happy Fun Dragon.
nicer if I didn't have to share the view.
Oh, that's the worst. So what do we want to do?
I
Who
still
wants-
kind of want to cast Fog Cloud. Like, we don't have to touch it at all and just see what happens.
If you can immediately dispel it, then that might not be too dangerous. Like, if
Yeah.
it's
Well,
if
then
they start
might
wild
be-
and
Yeah, they might be compelled to go and search for it and see what's there and make sure it's all there. Okay,
Maybe. Do it.
so I'm gonna back off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
same.
gonna get kind of
I'm just gonna stay right where I am.
like
In the
I
wall.
don't need to be on the wall. Like I can
All right.
back
you're-
quite a bit.
Yes, you can fly. You've said this many times.
Yes,
Mhm.
we all know you
Yeah.
can fly.
I'm
the
behind
healer.
her.
I'm the healer. Okay.
Oh, now you
Um,
pull that card.
Yeah,
All right, wait,
it's all right.
so
She wants to
where are
blow
you-
it up.
You can be up in the air, but
Healer.
where do you want your token to be?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're the one that was just saying you were moving away.
Yeah. Just kind of like off in that corner. Like that's fine. It's fine. Just leave me.
An amethyst head
I
behind
can
you.
I can poof away real fast if I need to.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
And leave
and-
everybody.
Yeah, I'm going
I'm the
to.
healer. I could leave you to die.
Yeah, right.
I'm going.
Come back
I
with you
want
and bring you back. Okay.
I'm gonna be
It's
next
called
to her
a
'cause
tactical
she's-
retreat.
Yeah, she's the one that wants to pull the pin on this grenade. I'm
Yeah.
staying near her so she can heal me when shit goes sideways.
You could be
Sychus,
dead for 100 years, and I would still be able to bring you back. So you know.
If you're still alive.
So
All right.
Sychus is still across the circle saying, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And then Muvad gives a glance to Dazoi and says, "You ready?"
Yeah, I'm going to climb down the wall for cover just in case, but
Yeah.
I do have to see what's going to happen here. So
Yeah.
So
Going
when
down
you
the,
say
like,
climb down the wall, you mean like you're gonna like just be peeking over the side?
Spider
Uh,
climb.
yeah, I'm just going to be standing on the side of the wall, kind of. It's like I'm leaning downward, but I'm looking over the edge of the wall. That little corner,
Okay. Well,
closer
so
to
how
Dithoi.
about this? Like so like
Uh,
kind of off the side.
yeah,
that what you mean?
Yeah, that sounds. It seems
Okay.
all right. I can see something better in there. We'll see.
Anyone else?
I'm good.
I'm good.
If I'm gonna die from dragons, that'll be the way I'd go.
Oh, I want to be
You got
cowering. And
So
hiding from it.
in the chat we've got drum roll, please.
All right. Fire away.
Please.
Fog cloud right in
All
the middle.
right. So what's the full size of the fog cloud?
I gotta go look at it again. It is 20-foot radius.
Radius. Okay,
Sphere,
that's pretty
I guess.
big.
20-foot radius sphere of fog.
All right, let's see. We got
Wouldn't that be like a maximum? Couldn't you?
If I
Rein
cast
it
it
in
at
if you wanted
higher,
to.
if I cast it at a higher level, I can make it bigger, but it doesn't say that I can make it smaller.
I don't know.
So-
It just seems to me like
basically
that would be a
that-
maximum.
If you center it on the crystal, it'll be like this, but you could choose to center it elsewise if you want.
On the crystal is fine.
Yeah. So like that.
Yep.
You cast your spell. The fog cloud forms. The dragons, all three, simultaneously roar with rage. And we're going to roll initiative next time.
Sweet!
Jenny's
The greatest
excited.
day of my entire life!
All right. So I think, yes, that's where we'll leave it for tonight. And next week,
Good.
it's a dragon fight for crystal. So we'll leave
Next
it there
week
for
on
tonight.
so many indecisive.
Yes, so-
So many troubles.
just
So
briefly,
many
if we have
troubles.
anyone in the chat who has
Dragons
questions
ain't one.
for the characters to answer in character, we could do that for a moment and see if anyone has any excitement. But
Don't know how much
you
to
guys
write
were
in.
also just spent a lot of the episode just talking through every single possible thought you had. So
Should have just let me do this from the beginning, y'all.
No.
No.
You can't just do what you want all the time.
yeah, Mira.
We had to try to talk
Yeah.
it out.
That's the great thing about chaos.
In fact, actually,
You're
let me
murdering
yeah, there we go.
What we do.
I can't believe you played the cleric card.
Yeah. So cheap.
All right. So it sounds like we're no questions this week, and that's fine. We'll be back next week for more adventure on so many
So many
So many
levels.
levels.